So let's continue talking about oil and gas, talking about particularly oil and gas stocks now listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. There are about 7 of them that we track here for you. And some of these companies have actually taken a strong beating from investors. In the last couple of trading days, we've noticed that investors have been tepid towards corn oil. Now, corn oil at the end of the first trading day of the week came in still at 35 naira, but about 11,303 units were traded by investors. Forte oil continued to be one of the green shoots recorded on that segment, on that particular segment of the market, where we had the stock closing at 54 naira 50 kobo and a large volume of over 1.9 units exchanged by investors. Mobile came in unchanged at 285 naira with about 36,841 units exchanged by investors. MRS also unchanged. Owando, however, added almost about 81 basis points, let's leave it at that, to close at 5 naira with a huge volume of 6.46 million units exchanged by investors. Seplat unchanged at 400 naira with a volume of 94,060 units exchanged, and Total is at 283 naira. Of course, analysts say that most of these equities are not doing too badly where they are, although it could be better, especially as most investors await this company's results that should be coming in before the end of March. So keeping our eyes on that. But the gains recorded by Forte Oil was enough to push the key index, that's a daily index, up 0.67%. Year-to-date looking good as well at minus 4.9%, price to earnings at 17.9 and dividend yield at 2.2%. Let's take a look at some other energy news that we're tracking here on the program. The Senate Joint Committees on Petroleum, that's upstream and downstream, and gas, will this week begin a probe of companies, heads of government agencies and parastatals after they uncovered an alleged fraud of 10 trillion naira by staff of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation in connivance, they say, with some officials of independent marketers and other key players in the petroleum sector between 2006 and 2016. According to the chairman, Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream, Kabiru Marafa, of the 10 trillion naira fraud, NNPC alone would account for about 5.2 trillion naira. It collected as subsidy from the federal government for importation of petroleum products, particularly premium motor spirits, also known as petrol, for the 10-year period, which is between 2006 and 2016. Now, those also alleged to be complicit and listed to appear before the committee are past and present chief executive officers of the NNPC, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Nigerian Customs Service, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, the Nigerian Ports Authority, as well as some licensed inspection agencies, of course, trying to clear the monumental fraud being discovered in the oil and gas sector and indeed across most of the key sectors of the economy. Also in the news, and I just talked about it some minutes ago with Ada, Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company has halted production at Nigeria's Bonga oil field to carry out scheduled maintenance. Now, the oil firm said the field, which has the capacity to produce 225,000 barrels per day of oil and about 150 million standard cubic feet of gas, is expected to resume production at some point next month. According to latest annual data from the NNPC, Bonga produced an average of 192,500 barrels per day of oil in 2015. So what else do we have on track? Of course, you know, a developing story right about now. The acting president is in Lagos for the groundbreaking of the Lagos-Ibadan Railway project. And also happening today, the Securities and Exchange Commission will hold a public hearing with the National Assembly on the state of the Nigerian capital market. The hearing is expected to, among other things, focus on the act of the Institute of Capital Market Registrars, as well as the status of unclaimed dividends in the country. And also on tap, we've got the latest on what's going on at the Kaduna International Airport. According to Channels television correspondent in Kaduna, Chimize Enyocha, he says the activities is a flurry of activities, of course, as the federal government works to meet the deadline, which gave itself a closure. The temporal closure of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport will happen from midnight on Wednesday, and that airport will remain closed for 6 weeks as intensive work is done on the runways. And of course, as is expected, the flurry of activities, we're talking about enhanced security, talking about improved lighting of the area, and of course the extracurricular activities that we're talking